Welcome to
Angel
and the Wiz, episode number 114. In case you need to know that reference point. This week where we have 26 to 50 of interesting fun facts about the body, and the word of the week is dedication. You found out that this young lady is scared to death of spiders, but we didn't get a chance to hear what the event as it actually took place. So here we go.
So I'm arachnophobic.
Yeah.
Really arachnophobic.
You must be, that you left the house.
I do well with tiny spiders. Daddy longlegs don't bother me.
Okay.
Little tiny spiders
Right.
don't bother me. Big honking spiders
Right.
that look like they could be in a
Yeah.
Harry Potter movie
Right.
scare me to pieces.
Okay. My mom was the same way. She was terrified of
I
spiders.
just can't, and I get anyway. So there was a spider that was in my kitchen. My calico was going crazy. I walk out and then I see it scurrying along. And I was like, oh dear lord, what's gonna happen? So I go in and get the bottle of flying insect spray, and I empty half the can on the spider.
Just so that you know, the reason that doesn't work so well is because spiders, unlike other insects, don't have pores on their feet that can pick up that stuff that you spray. Although you were spraying him, he got soaking wet.
He drowned.
Okay, drowned.
So I was spraying it. Add to that, as I'm spraying it, the spider stops, which is they don't remember. It starts having babies. Okay.
Really?
So now I've got little spider. It was the worst. I had a panic attack. I just about died. I called Adam up, and I'm like in tears, and I could tell that he was trying so hard not to laugh hysterically at the fact that I'm freaking out because there's a giant spider having babies that I'm trying to. Anyway, so he goes, well. And I go, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because I can't. I have nightmares about spider. I wake up in a panic going, it's bad.
Right.
So, what I ended up doing after I emptied the half a can of Raid, I then had to, I had to now clean up some of them. I mean, the floor, I have a tan floor. It was white because I had put so much Raid on it. So I took a cup and I put this cup on top of the dead spider because I sure as hell wasn't touching it. Like, it's not happening. And then I cleaned up the mess because the cats couldn't. I didn't want the cats to be harmed by this. And then I went to Adam's house.
I can't sleep in my house.
I took a sleeping pill too. Because that stuff like that haunts me. I had to take a sleeping pill, and then last night, or not last night, but the night after,
the next
night, I still had to take a sleeping pill. And I still left that spider in the cup. I wasn't touching it. I had called the next day. I had called the bug guys, and I said, I have an ant and a spider problem because I do have these little, they call them ghost ants in the house. And I learned more about those too. So anyway. The bug guy comes over, and he goes, well, where's this spider? And I said, well, I killed it. And he's like, okay. And I said, it's under the cup over there. He goes, when did you kill it? I'm like, 2 days ago. And he just looks at me. So he goes, picks the cup up.
Spider's still alive, right?
No, that's not who was dead, thank God. Thank God. But, so he picks the cup up, and now I'm standing, he's by my garbage can. I'm on the other side of the kitchen. And then he just picks this dead spider up with his fingers, and I thought I was gonna pass out. I just went, I leaned up against the wall, and I said, I can't believe you just touched that. And then he threw it in my garbage can, and I said, that better be down at the bottom, because if I open my garbage can and it's like sitting on top of something, and he goes and he shakes the garbage can, he goes, oh yeah, I can't see it anymore. And I was like, because you're dealing with an arachnophobic here.
I mean. Were you okay that that it was in the garbage in the house, or did you have to get rid of the bag right away?
I'm okay with it because I'll eventually, over the next day, forget that it's there.
Right.
Oh my God, that was. But then Adam laughs at me, and I just said, you can't, like. This is what I told him. I said, in the heat of the moment, I appreciate you not laughing at me because. It makes me feel stupid that my fear is, not. It's that my fear is not realistic, but it is a very realistic fear.
But it's still something that you really feel, and it's something that you really believe.
And it started with, hi baby.
What?
It started with when I was younger. I would have nightmares about spiders attacking me, and I slept on a bunk bed. And I had the top bunk, and I would have these nightmares, and then I would wake up from the nightmares, and there would be a spider dangling from the ceiling fan.
Really?
Yeah, and I would scream, hi baby. So it's
my
like,
mom. Listen, my mom had the same.
But the-
She had just quickly bring you up to speed. She had a dream one time, and every time she was in a hole filled with spiders, and every time she went to scream, the spiders would climb in her mouth, and that was it. She's like you. She was just terrified.
I would have a recurring nightmare where these spiders would attack me.
Right.
They were controlled by E.T. I'm not joking. The spiders would attack me. E.T. was telling them to attack me, and Optimus Prime would save me.
Oh, that's big with Tina. She loves those Transformers.
But I'll tell you, but that was, and then I'd wake up from this nightmare.
Right.
And there'd be a spider dangling in front, and I would freak out. And so I've always had that. And if I wake up in the middle of the night from a spider attacking dream, you can't identify your shadows. You see things that are still residual from what you're experiencing in your dream. And then I've got cats, so then you don't know what's going on.
Right.
And I just wake up screaming. So he sprayed for spiders. And he goes, "Oh, this is a wolf spider. They don't bite." And I was like, "I don't give a crap.
We don't care what they do. We
said,
don't want to see them."
And and then he's like, "They can get." I said, "I don't want to know anymore about the life cycle, the birthing process, or the growth,
or the good things they do for humanity."
I don't care. And he goes, "Well, they kill cockroaches." I said, "Well, I said, "That spider can keep its ass out in my garage. I got a couple of cockroaches out there." And he goes, "Well, it probably came in from the garage to have its kids." And I was like, "Stop, just stop. I don't, no. We're done."
What time is it?
6:59.
Okay, here's the word of the week. This fits right in there.
Dedication.
Dedication is the word of the week. And
I appreciated that guy too. That
did a
plug
good
guy
job.
is very dedicated to his job.
Well, let's talk about dedication, because sometimes you wonder, can dedication be not abused, but you know what I mean, misused? It could, because we used last week, we were talking about integrity. We talked about the IRS and all that stuff, and this. I have to tell you, now I've lived a lot of years, and while most people, nobody really likes IRS because nobody likes to pay taxes, but nobody really thought this was going on, what's going on, and it's really, really horrible thing. But anyway, so now, could it have been? This is like, I don't like to use this as, I'm trying to keep everything positive, but I assure you that the reason some of this stuff happened with the IRS is because those people were dedicated to helping the people in the White House.
You have to,
because they did it around the election. They did it to limit the amount of votes that would come in for the other side. That was the whole purpose of it. That's why they did it.
I mentioned this in the show that we lost, but
Okay.
that I don't, do you think that he really didn't know, and that it was somebody who said something, somebody in his administration said, "Hey, we should look out to,"
Let's
and
do
then,
this,
and
right.
then told somebody in the IRS, probably the lady who's deciding she's not going to answer any questions, even though the reality is she's not incriminating
she's finished.
herself. They're just asking, did you know, or who ordered it?
Well,
probably her.
The fact that she's pleading the fifth lets you know that there's a problem.
But that, somebody ordered it and it just gets filtered down to, and probably some memo that says, please be on the lookout for whatever. So some schmuck who gets these applications, who is following orders, because that's
exactly what happened. And to say that these people did it down here is absolutely nonsense. They protect their job just like us.
Yeah.
We do what we're told.
Yes.
And in answer to your
tell
question,
me to pick up that poop. Okay, I'll pick up that poop. Now, it's not my job description, but my boss told me to.
Right. And what I would share with you in response to what your question is, Valerie Jarrett runs the White House, and Obama and everybody else.
So
and who she works for, we'll never know. Those are people behind the scenes, probably George Soros or someone like that.
There's a good possibility that she had said to somebody, "Do this."
Yeah, but she was doing it because of her dedication to him.
But you don't think? I don't think that he knew.
I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he knew everything. I'm sure that she reported into him.
I don't think he knew right away what was going on.
I'm sure that he made a comment. He made a comment. He said, what do
not-
they say? I got a stone in my shoe. Somebody could just remove it. And then 2 months later, you find some guy is dead in a garbage can someplace. No. So he has plausible deniability. So he can stand up there and say, but the problem in Mr. Obama's case is that now we have Fast and Furious, which he didn't know anything about.
I don't know what the Fast and Furious is. Besides
Okay,
a
that's
movie
about yeah, they're trying to dilute it from what it is. Fast and Furious was a process, for those of you who don't know, where the FBI allowed gun salespeople in the lower states to sell heavy duty weapons to people that took them into Mexico. They walked them across the border and gave them to organized crime and drug dealers and everything else like that, so they could, quote, follow where the guns went, but they did nothing to follow the guns. Okay, so we have Fast and Furious, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a criminal organization supporting a criminal organization.
Right,
We don't have to go there.
Fast and Furious, next one.
Fast and Furious, the IRS, the AP, Benghazi. Now, when you've got 4 of these things, and the guy keeps coming back saying, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. No, I read about it in the newspapers. So either we have to believe that he's totally incompetent or he's a liar. He can only be one or the other.
I would say this with regards to Benghazi, and
which is so much worse than
IRS.
Watergate, you can't even go near it.
I would say with this with Benghazi and the IRS,
Right.
that he probably the deaths were unfortunate and shouldn't have happened.
They weren't unfortunate. They were allowed to happen. We did nothing to help those people.
But I'm going to believe that he knew nothing of the security issue that was there because it didn't even get to the Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton was like,
they talked to her.
It doesn't come to me.
They called her at 2 o'clock in the morning. They talked right from there. They called her directly.
After the attack happened.
After it started.
Right.
They did nothing to help them. They knew right away. They knew right away when this happened. It was immediately to them. And you have to keep one thing in mind. This is one of the things that's important. All these people that want to allow this gentleman to not be blamed for anything, his hands are white and pure.
Okay.
I have to say one thing I got to say. It is a fact that the only person who can tell the army to stand down is the President of the United States. He is the only guy that can do it. There is a chain of command, and those orders go up, and this top general answers directly to the President. And he is the only guy that can tell people to stand down, and they were told to stand down. So anyway, I don't want to get lost on him.
Okay.
I don't care enough about him anymore. He's a lame duck, and he's a horrible guy, and I'm really sorry that he is.
But I think
when you've
that
got
with
this
Benghazi,
many scandals, you can't walk around and say
think
I
with
don't know anything.
I think with the AP, he knew
Oh, that was a
about.
bad mistake.
And
Because they were
with
supporting
the
him.
Fast and the Furious, he would have to know about. But I think with
IRS they knew.
some of the
It's a
Benghazi,
tool.
some of the aspects of the Benghazi issue weren't on his desk until a little bit later. And I think with the IRS, it was a plausible deniability.
Yeah, and that's all it was. The fact of the matter is, this is a guy who said we punish our enemies. He said that. That's his words. This is the Chicago thug. I don't want to get into it. I want to talk about dedication. We're doing Word of the Week, and the Word of the Week is dedication.
Chicago, I will tell you, you're.
That's
Illinois,
how it is.
Let's just put this way. Illinois is the only state where their governors will eventually make their license plates, and I have said that before. I have said that
That's
before.
cute.
But it's true.
Okay, what time is it? Time for the learning spot.
1408.
Okay, here we go.
Anyway, so people are dedicated to people.
And dedication is a beautiful
dedication
thing.
for the right reasons.
Yes, and that's the right way to tag out on that. Dedication is something that can be misused and abused by both parties that are being dedicated or to or from. But it is also one of the greatest gifts that you can give somebody is to be dedicated to them. Mm-hmm. Whether it's your husband or your wife or your kids or the people that you work for, coming in dedicated, like a dedicated worker is there. You know what I mean? It's somebody that you can depend on. And I don't want to go into dependability because that's its own thing. But so, dedication.
Give me
we've
the
done
next
it.
paper so I can
Okay.
skim it while you're
Okay.
reading.
Let me see. You did. Okay. I'm going to do 26. Okay. You get this and this. I gotta get part of this. Okay, well, you can hang on to this. I'm taking this. I take 26 to. What do you got there? You go. Okay, I'll do 26 to your top one. You do the rest.
Okay.
Okay, now, just to set this back up for those of you who weren't paying attention last week, then pay attention. Where's the front page?
Right there.
Oh. The human body is a treasure trove of mysteries, one that still confounds doctors and scientists about the details of its working. It's not an overstatement to say that every part of your body is a miracle. Here are 50 interesting facts about your body, some of which will leave you surprised. Now, we did 25 last week. We're going to do 25 this week. We have to be out by 24:30. Okay, here we go. By 60 years of age, wow, I didn't know this. By 60 years of age, 60% of men and 40% of women will snore. I never thought of that. We are about 1 centimeter taller in the morning than in the evening, because during normal activities during the day, the cartilage in our knees and other areas slowly compress.
It's true. It's
Isn't that
very
wild?
true. In your skin, because you're laying flat, so
Right.
your skin is like pushed back and
Right,
flattened.
right.
And then when you stand up,
Right.
like, it even goes with like the breasts
Okay.
area. Like,
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, ooh, they look great, and then by the end of the day, they're all sagging.
Next.
It's true.
I believe you. The brain operates the brain operates on the same amount of power as a 10-watt light bulb, even while you are sleeping. In fact, the brain is much more active at night than during the day.
'Cause it's giving me nightmares about spiders.
About spiders. Nerve impulses to and from the brain travel as fast as 170 miles per hour. Neurons continue to grow throughout human life. Excuse me. Information travels at different speeds within different types of neurons. Excuse me. It is a fact that people who dream more often and more vividly, on an average, have a higher intelligence quotient, high IQ. That's probably why I don't dream at all. Okay, the fastest growing nail is on the middle finger. I'll let you figure that one out. Facial hair grows faster than any other hair on the body. This is true for men as well as women. There are as many hairs per square inch on your body as a chimpanzee. Who would have thought that one? What I just did to you? A human fetus acquires fingerprints at the age of 3 months. So if you're going to commit crimes, you got to do it before then. By the age of 60, most people will have lost about half of their taste buds.
That's why everybody puts salt in.
Oh,
so
sure,
much salt.
that would explain it.
Because you have on your tongue, the largest area of taste is the salt taste.
Huh?
So as you get older and you lose your taste buds, old people will put more salt on
Oh,
it
sure.
to have more taste.
Very cool.
About 32 million bacteria call every inch of your skin home.
What?
But don't worry, a majority of these are harmless or even helpful bacteria. It's one of the reasons why antibacterial soap isn't great for you.
Oh, wow, because some of that bacteria you need.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, that's why when you take antibiotics,
Uh-huh.
and then they tell you if you're going to take an antibiotic especially for women, to eat yogurt with the
Right.
antibiotic,
Right.
because there's healthy bacteria in your intestine
Right.
that will cause, if it's gone, because it gets killed with the antibiotic,
Right.
it will cause, that's why people say sometimes you have a side effect of diarrhea, because
Okay.
the bacteria in your intestine
Right.
can't process, because it's gone, you killed it with the
Oh, I
antibiotic.
gotcha.
And the yogurt restores it. The yogurt has called acidophilus, restores
Okay.
that bacteria. Yeah. The colder the room you sleep in, the higher the chances you are that you'll have a bad dream.
Really?
Human lips have a reddish color because of the great concentration of tiny capillaries just below the skin.
Wow.
Maybe that's why it hurts more when you 300 million cells die in the human body every minute.
How many?
300 million.
300 million cells die every minute.
Mhm.
Wow.
Like fingerprints, every individual has an unique tongue print that can be used for identification.
Wow. Who would have
This is
thought?
kind of gross. A human head remains conscious for about 15 to 20 seconds after it has been decapitated.
Oh, great. Oh, that's horrible.
It takes 17 muscles to smile and 43 to frown.
Wow, see? Wow.
Humans can make do longer without food than sleep. Provided there is water, the average human can survive a month to 2 months without food, depending on their body fat and other factors.
How long? A month to 2?
A month to 2 months.
Wow.
Sleep-deprived people, however, start experiencing radical personality and psychological changes only after a few sleepless days.
Huh?
The longest recorded time anyone has ever gone without sleep is 11 days, at the end of which the experimenter was awake but stumbled over words, hallucinating, and frequently forgot what he was doing.
Yeah, I could believe it.
The most common blood type in the world is type O. The rarest blood type, AH or Bombay blood, due to the location of its discovery, has been found in less than 100 people since it was discovered. Wow. Every human spent about half an hour after being conceived as a single cell. Shortly afterward, the cells began rapidly dividing and began forming the components of a tiny embryo. I need the last page.
Oh.
Right-handed people live, on average, 9 years longer than left-handed people do.
Right-handed people live longer than lefties?
9 years longer.
Wow.
This is largely due to the fact that a majority of the machines and tools we use on a daily basis are designed for those who are right-handed, making them somewhat dangerous for lefties to use and resulting in thousands of accidents and deaths each year.
Wow. You know some lawyer's going to jump on that one.
Right. Your ears secrete more earwax when you are afraid than when you aren't.
Who would have thought that?
It's weird. Koalas and primates are the only other animals with unique fingerprints. You can do the last two.
Okay. Last two fun facts. Humans are the only animals to produce emotional tears. Crying from emotion. Okay.
Or happiness. I cry
Okay,
from
true.
happiness.
And the human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet in the air. That's
Now, what did they do? Like, take some sort of guy in open heart surgery and be like, here you go.
Well, no, you know where they probably got it from was they found out from, pardon me, crime scenes.
That's
You know, and you cut somebody's throat and you can just see, you know. I mean, not a very nice thing to
That's
think
gross.
about, but. Okay, so let me see how we're doing. We're doing good. We're at.
The human body is kind of interesting yet disgusting.
So ends this week's learning spot on the human body. I hope that you've gotten. It's been fun for you. I thought it was just
Those are
interesting.
things.
You know. Now we have 24:30, so we have
All right, so
a minute.
if you were president,
Yes, ma'am.
how would you handle the IRS thing?
Well,
Let's
first,
say-
I would have never
let's say this.
suggested to them that they do it. This was done on purpose. These people
No,
were
let's
told
say-
to
let me put
target
you in
the
this-
enemy.
Let me put you in this situation. Let's say that you come into office today with this scandal have already happened. He gets kicked out, you
Right.
come in. What would you do?
The first thing I would do is get the heads of the IRS in the conference room, tell them that we are not going to tolerate anything like this happening in the future, and that I am going to immediately begin to look into finding a different way to collect taxes so that you don't have the temptation or the ability to do this ever again. There's other ways to collect tax money, and obviously we can't trust it in the hands of people because people can be manipulated for political reasons, and that's what we have found. You know what I mean? And that I think is the only real solution. So, you know, we've gotten ourselves drunk on money, so we've got to have the money. We've got to collect it. I would also be looking to pare down the government as much as possible. And you know, from my 20 points, anybody that gets money from us, the government, has to do something for it. Whatever it is, there's got to be something they can do. There's got to be something they can do. Okay.
Bye, America.
Bye, America.
Do something good every day and volunteer at your local animal shelter.
That's right. Take care of your body.
I've traveled now for 16 years and still I am alone. It seems that I'm about the only friend I've ever known. But I'm riding in the saddle with the sun, and I'll be leaving here tomorrow when I'm done. I don't know why I let them come and take my little girl. I never left her lonely, 'cause to me she was my world. But the 16 years, they've traveled now and gone, and she's no longer in the spot I had my home. They told me now the time had come, she'd have to go to school. And living in this home without her ma just wasn't good. She was 5, she said that she'd return, but it took me 7 years to finally learn that she had been rewarded with the loan of parents in a rich New England home. So I sold my farm and I headed out to bring her back to me. But the road was hard and I lost most things. I drank up quite a sea. And then on the day when I finally did arrive, I saw that she was happy. So I lied, and I said I was an uncle of her friends. And then I headed back out down the road again. So I've traveled now for 16 years, and still I am alone. It seems that I'm about the only friend I've ever known. But I'm riding in the saddle with the sun, and I'll be leaving here tomorrow when I'm done. I'm riding in the saddle with the sun, and I'll be leaving here tomorrow when I'm done.
And sung by The Wizard.